Hi. Hi, hello. Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're not. So glad you're here regardless. Today is Tuesday, January 23rd, and it is the day before I start my last semester of uni. For those of you who don't know, I am a senior mechanical engineering major at the University of Maryland, College Park. I currently do not live on campus, nor do I go to the College Park campus for my classes. I'm in this particular program where I kind of have this cloud campus deal going on. So I am a Maryland student, but I take my classes at a local facility down here in Southern Maryland, which is why I am still here in my family home. So my classes start tomorrow. I have an 11 a.m. tomorrow, and then I have a 2:15 p.m. on Thursday. I have a pretty sweet deal. I only have one class tomorrow and one class on Thursday, and then I don't have classes on Fridays. So it's going to be a pretty easy week. It's syllabus week. Like the first week and a half, 2 weeks of the semester are always usually the slowest. I'm very excited. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around the fact that it'll be my last semester ever, assuming that I decide to not go to grad school. Also, please excuse my voice. I am getting over this tiny, minuscule cold at the moment. I've had it for about a week, and I'm clearing up, but it is not completely gone. And yet, of course, I decided that now would be the time for me to break out my recording mic and use this for better audio quality. So you get to hear my gross voice in Ultra HD. So I have prepared some new semester spreads for me to use this semester. Again, I'm kind of going on the more minimalistic approach, having my journal serve me and not having me serve my journal. These are spreads that I have worked to try and cater to what I need them to do and the kind of goals and habits that I typically use throughout my semester. So if you are a student, then hopefully you may also find some value in these spreads. And so without any further delay, let's get into it. So the first spread for my semester setup I actually did off camera. Since I'm not one for proper cover pages, I just wrote another letter to myself to kind of hype myself up for the semester. I also filled the left page with another Taylor Swift quote, "Are you ready for it?" Big reputation energy going into this semester. The spread after this one is my semester at a glance and important info spread. Since Maryland's colors are red, black, and gold, these are the colors I'm using. It's a bright red, this marigold, yellow gold color, and a dark cool gray. I have a black, but I think it's dying, so dark gray it is. So the semester at a glance is like a mini year at a glance, and it's where I outline the months of the semester. In the past, I would do 5 sections for 5 months, starting from January and going on to May, but since only about a week of January is included in the semester and it's syllabus week, I'm starting this spread with February instead. I typically fill this page out once I have all of my syllabi for the semester. I'm taking 4 classes this semester, so a full course load, and as of right now, I only have 2 syllabi. Actually, no, technically 3, because I have my syllabus for my abroad class already, so I'm probably going to wait until after my first day to fill this one in. But when I do fill this in, I take note of all of the crucial dates, like exam dates, project due dates, and any holidays or breaks when we won't have any classes. I used to try and put in my homework and due dates here as well, but those often do a lot of shifting throughout the semester, and I usually end up running out of space since I would try to note the dates for multiple classes, so important dates it is. The next page of this spread is my important info page, and this is where I'm putting all of the essential information for each of my classes. So this includes the class code and name, the instructor name, the TA, if the class has a TA, when, where, and how long the class is, the class office hours, any contact information, and essentially everything that you would typically find on the top section of a syllabus is going to go in this page. One of my classes is a cloud class, so this is where I'm going to be sitting in a classroom at my campus down here in Southern Maryland, and I'll call into the live class that is going to be streamed from College Park. So I'll be taking note of the channel I got to call into for that lecture as well. Like I said before, I'm taking 4 classes this semester, but one of them I'm actually taking abroad. I'll be going to Italy over spring break in March to take an out-of-major technical elective. It's a civil engineering elective I think it's called a Sustainability and Infrastructure Condition and Safety, I think. I'm genuinely so excited to take it, and not just because it's abroad, but also because civil engineering was one of the engineering disciplines I was looking at way back when I was deciding what discipline of engineering I wanted to pursue, so that'll be fun. My 3 other classes I'll be taking regularly throughout the semester, so technically, if you really think about it, it's kind of like I'll be taking 3 classes and then just a bonus one in spring break, so I'm gonna have a lot of time this semester. This next spread is my timetable and semester goal spread. The timetable is super helpful for me because I am a very visual person, okay? Like, I am all about colors and labels, so time blocking really helps me visualize my time, and it gives me a better idea of how much time I actually have throughout the day. Now, even though I have this page in my bullet journal, I find myself referring to this the most usually whenever I don't have my laptop or phone readily available, because since transferring to uni, I've noticed that I kind of have this 50-50 relationship between my journal and my digital tools. So I've been using my Google Calendar to help me visualize my weeks. I'll likely do another video detailing my digital tools for an academic semester, but I usually put in blocks for study time and color code them to match the class that I want to study for. And the thing with this is I can't exactly set these study blocks in stone all the time, because depending on what's going on that week, I may need to dedicate more time to working on assignments for one class over the others. I've found that making the study blocks flexible on my Google Calendar makes planning my week significantly less scary as opposed to solidifying them in my journal. So my timetable in my journal, I used to visualize the time blocks that will not be moving. So my class times, my work shifts, and now when I want to work out. I mentioned this in my New Year in January 2024 setup video, but I have a big goal this year to lose the weight I've gained since starting college. Going into my first semester in fall 2020, I was weighing in at about 127 pounds, and now almost 4 years later, I'm hanging out at around 150, 155. So I've gained just under 30 pounds or so, and it's not exactly a bad thing. But like, what's weird about it is that even though I've gained and I can notice it in comparison to like old photos from a few years ago, my clothes still fit. They just don't fit the same. I don't know. It's weird. But yes, I'm determined to shave off the weight, get myself back into the 130s at least. So in order for me to do that, I really need to commit and having consistency. So I'm blocking out time to make sure I do that. The semester goals page, pretty self-explanatory. This is where I'll be putting my goals for this semester. I used to set this up similar to how I would set up my yearly goals, but this time, instead of breaking up my goals into categories, I'm breaking them up by month. It's taken me nearly 4 years of college to really notice this, but the semester kind of goes through phases for me. Like, each month has a different vibe, a different workload, different set of expectations, so I'm planning on coming back to this page at the end of every month to reflect a little and see what I want to strive for in the following month and set those goals accordingly. So this next spread is actually my first weekly setup for this semester. My academic weeklies usually look pretty different from my non-academic weeklies, but this semester I'm going to do my best to try and fuse the two layouts together. So on the right side, I have a more condensed version of my regular weekly setup, which you can see me put together in full in my previous video, which was my New Year in January 2024 setup. This is 7 rows for the days of the week and 3 columns for habits, events, and tasks going from left to right. The left side is similar, also with 7 rows and 3 columns, only this time each of the 3 columns is meant for one of the 3 classes I'm taking for the majority of the semester. So when spring break comes around and it's time for me to take my abroad class, I'll have a different setup for that too. The dates for the week are also on the left side, and I condensed the right side of the layout for a reason.
so that way I can make some room for these little sections for my weekly priorities, goals, an end of the week reward, and a place to make note of the following week's events. So having weekly priorities and goals I found in the past has really helped me find something to focus on, which really comes in handy during those weeks where I feel super overwhelmed and I feel like I have way too much going on. The end of week reward is a new thing I'm trying out this year, and the idea is that I set up some type of reward or prize for myself to indulge in at the end of the week, but only if I complete everything that I said I would. This reward could range from, buying something for lunch or dinner, or getting something off of my wish list, or literally could just be letting myself sit and read and doing absolutely nothing else. So, for example, say I wanted to do my laundry, read a textbook chapter, and work out every day of the week. If I complete all of those things for the week, then I get to indulge in whatever reward I've set myself at the end of the week. So far it's been going pretty well. I haven't actually gotten to indulge in a reward yet, but I've already noticed that I'm more motivated to try and finish everything I say I want to do during the week, so the idea is definitely sticking. And we've made it to the end, the final flip through for my spring 2024 semester setup. I'm really happy with how these spreads turned out. I think they're really going to do what I need them to do for me this semester. I hope some of you guys found a little bit of inspiration or motivation in some of these spreads, and if you did and you wanted to recreate them to any capacity, please share with me on Instagram and tag me. My handle is @simplychantal with an underscore at the end, and also linked down in the description for you.
Bridget wants to say congratulations for making it through. I hope you found this somewhat helpful. I know for me, I mentioned it probably within the voiceover, but I know for me, making spreads that were functional and practical for my lifestyle as a student and getting them to cater towards what I need them to do for me has been a trial and error thing. But I feel pretty good about these spreads. I feel pretty good about them. I also mentioned at some point during the setup that since starting college, specifically since starting uni, I have become a very 50-50 person in terms of my planning. As you can see, I have my whole Google Calendar right here, and it's not very full right now, but I promise you when school starts, it will be color blocked to the wazoo. I don't do anything without this calendar. And I also have some Excel sheets and other things that I use to keep track of my grades, my GPA, my assignments, things like that. I'll also probably do an extended, student edition setup for all of the tools that I use to help me stay on track for the semester, so stay tuned for that. I hope you guys were able to find some helpful things within this setup, and I'm very excited to see where this semester takes me. Hopefully I finish strong, because I've been fighting tooth and nail and clawing my way through my entire undergrad process. So here's to hoping that I make it to May mostly alive. Ideally, I might be half alive, maybe a little less, but so long as I'm alive, I think that'll be great. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sitting with me, and I'll see you guys next time.